Welcome to the Rugby League Outsiders set of 6, our weekly news show where we share the good, the great and the noteworthy, plus the mega Rugby League quiz from outside the Heartlands. My name's Craig.
And my name's Karl. We're going to be talking about state of origin players that are potentially eligible to play for England or not. We've got a roundup of the 1895 Cup. We're going to be talking Ashes Wheelchair Rugby League, community game and a whole lot more.
Another great week in Rugby League, so let's dive into it. First of all, with the Ashes series rapidly approaching, England are going to want their best team on the pitch, and no doubt that's going to involve Aussie-based players. But Shaun Wane may have some rep rugby politics to deal with this year.
Yeah, so I talked about this earlier on in the season when I made a little bit of a joke about Bevan French playing for England and all the rest of it, and what the eligibility rules are around state of origin. Right, so it's come to a bit of a head this week. So Max King, he's eligible to play for England. His mother is English. He was born in Huddersfield, moved over to Australia when he was a lot younger. Been ripping it up for Canterbury Bulldogs this year, who's sitting top of the NRL ladder, having a stellar season. He was on the radar for playing for England this year in the Ashes. However, he's just been selected for New South Wales. He's in the squad for New South Wales for the up-and-coming State of Origin game.
Right, my first question, right, brilliant to Max King, amazing.
Yeah,
brilliant
yeah,
he's from Huddersfield as well, that's just tip-top. But I struggle, like, what's the reason behind these politics? Is it like an availability for the Origins game? Are they trying to ring fence talent, or like what's the reasons for it?
Yeah, I think there's a bit of ring fencing going on here from Australia. I know this probably ain't going to go down right well, but yes,
I'm genuinely interested.
So
in what people have got to say.
If you've played international for England or for New Zealand, you're not eligible to play State of Origin.
Right.
But I believe, if I'm getting this right, if you've played like Tonga, Samoa, Fiji, Cook Islands, they're all still they are eligible. And I don't know if it's because England and New Zealand were classed as like tier 1 nations, and the other teams were developing nations, and therefore they weren't too concerned about it. But yeah, these are the rules in place by the NRL, State of Origin, Australia, whatever federation it is. Yeah, so there's a weird situation here. I think it's one of the first times it's happened. So he could play, because the rules are the other way around. So he could play for New South Wales, right?
Yeah.
In the squad, get picked, could play a couple of games,
win the series.
Yeah, but then could get picked for England.
Yeah.
He can play for England, but then once he's put an England Test jersey on, he then won't be eligible to play State of Origin again. So it's a weird set of rules. So I don't know. I thought it was worth mentioning, worth bringing up, and sticking our 2 pennies in. Really,
I want to go on a little bit of a fact-finding thing. Like, what are the reasons behind these rules? My assumptions are, like I said, ring fencing talent, but also like getting players to indicate their allegiance to, whether it's the Origin, whether it's the Aussie team or the England team or whatever, just to sort of identify their actual allegiance and not let people in that are going to like flip-flop backwards and forwards and just decide where they're going to go. It is a strange one. I mean, there's a few assumptions to be made in, like, will he get picked up for the Origin? Would he get selected by Shaun Wane? So, but it is an interesting situation.
Yeah, I know. It's like for years there were calls for Burgess to play Origin, weren't there?
Yeah.
The door was firmly shut on him because he represented England, so it was never going to happen. So, yeah, but it's interesting that it's the other way around this time, that he's been picked for Origin first. There's quite a few players, actually, they've not had a really long career, or like there's some players who have only played a handful of seasons are getting into the Origin squad these days, whereas before. I think he was like
Just established players.
Yeah, really established players. Yeah, it's just, I don't know what you.
What's your prediction, Karl? How's this going to go down?
I don't think he'll play for England. I think he's going to play Origin. I think the purse is too big. The draw's too big. I think he's going to play Origin, and then if he has a decent Origin series, probably put an Australia jersey on.
We've lost him, yeah.
Yeah.
Right, okay. Great first story then, Karl. Well done for digging that one out. Now, we all know that rugby league is renowned for brute force and strength, and sometimes, as an onlooker, people that are not directly fans can't really identify the skill. And then every now and again, some players, whether it's through acts of God or what, I don't know, they just display some individual skill that anybody can see, you know what I mean, and just think, wow. And no doubt, these bits of skill this week, it's happened twice in the NRL, okay, it's going to be talked about for years.
There's 2 tries this weekend that I've seen, and I was like, they ain't going to be beat. It's going to take something special to score a better try than either of these two this week. So the first try was Nawaqanitawase, nailed it in one. It took me ages to do that. Scored an absolute wonder try for the Roosters this weekend. So here it is. Well, let's get it up on screen. We'll have a little look at it. Right, so here he is, coming down the wing. Chip over. This is the bit where you don't... If you see this again in slow motion, you realise what an absolute piece of brilliance this is. It kicks it on one foot. He's about to go out. Hops on the other foot.
Volleys that.
Then he's got to run around the corner flag. I mean, what a... unbelievable try. I mean, the fact that he's so close to the sideline, just to nail that kick, just to get that kick accurate, is a piece of brilliance in itself. But to do it while hopping on one foot, so that you're not going into touch, is just incredible.
Do you know?
And he had to run around the corner flag.
The only thing I want to see more than that try is the reaction from the coach. I want to see what happens when he, because there's got to be. Well, no, I'm sure they believe he's got the skills to do that, but you know what I mean. Just the fact that he's done it on a pitch, is just brilliant. Yeah.
There's more to talk about here, isn't there? Because we spoke about him at the start of the season. Yeah. He'd come over from Australian Rugby Union. This is his first season in the NRL. He played. Well, I think he played like a little bit of reserve grade at the end of last season. He was in the reserve grade team at the start of this year. He started scoring tries. No surprises that he's in the Roosters side, and there were like talks about him playing Origin as well. He hasn't quite made that, but he's so good to watch. He's so quick, and his ball thinking ability is just, I don't know. He's like his reaction time is quicker than anybody else's. It's so good to watch.
Yeah, I mean, we often talk about, wingers having barely any room to score. He had no room. He had no room. It was off the pitch.
He had to jump on one foot. That's how little room he had.
It was off the pitch when he volleyed the ball. It bounced perfectly. I mean, they must have looked at that a few times because it was very, very close to the white line. And then had to like you say, run on and ground the ball that was skipping away from him. So, yeah, really, really skillful. And the next one, Karl, and Xavier Co, who scored some belters in his time, but this one was special.
Yeah, he's already scored some crackers this season, but you see this at first angle, you go, oh, yeah, he got up there high. Right. He comes around to the second angle, it's like, hang on, they're just like hired a basketball player. Here he goes up for the ball. I mean... How high is he there?
He's freaking head high.
He must be. He's above head high. He must be 10 foot in the air at that point. It's just unbelievable bit of skill. One thing I would say though, there's a little bit of a talking point here.
Yeah. I can see what you're going to say.
Was it the St. Helens game in the Magic Weekend? Who was it that went up for the high ball? It don't matter whoever it was, but yeah, it's in the St. Helens game, Magic Weekend. Somebody went up for the high ball. His knee brushed the player's head, didn't he, or shoulder, as he went up for the high ball.
Brushed is an interesting way of describing it, but yeah, carry on.
Well, it's as much.
Yeah,
as,
no,
as,
yeah,
it's
right.
as
It
much
is
as
as
that.
much. Yeah,
it's it's if you watch this again, I mean, he makes contact with the head. I mean, that in Super League that probably wouldn't have been given. But what do you do? How do you? This brings up all like talking point. Like, how do you jump for the ball? And if the defender decides not to be airborne, what are you meant to do to protect him? There's not really much you can do. You can't jump without using your legs.
No, but the thing is, he's not exactly like slammed his knee into his face. You can see that the defender is trying to avoid any kind of any kind of like major collision and what have you, and not put himself into harm's way. And yeah, you said knee brushes against him, and it probably does. You know what I mean? There's probably very little in the contact there, but so I don't think it's particularly dangerous. And I think this is where you need a little bit of leeway to go, right, well, was that actually dangerous?
This is the problem now, isn't it? We
right,
don't have leeway. Yeah, we don't have leeway.
It breaks the rules, and thereby it's a penalty. But really, was it?
Yeah.
Was it? Can we just strike this off as a near miss? Right, a little bit of a warning. Look, just keep the knees sort of, blah blah blah, whatever the circumstances were, but let it run, because if that had been chalked off, it'd have been sacrilege.
Yeah, yeah. We don't want to see tries like that chalked off, do we? I think there's the laws of the game, and I think sometimes there's got to be a little bit of
bend the rules. No, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, bend the rules. Yeah, near miss, and then pretty. We used to have I shouldn't even be saying this, but a health and safety at work, previous job I had, it was like, I don't really want to put it down as an accident because there's a lot of paperwork to do, but we'll put it in the near miss book over here. It was sat on my desk. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we talk about mitigating circumstances, and like some of the mitigating circumstances there is the defender was unharmed, or was unarmed. Do you know what I mean? It's just like...
Well, you could say that the defender put himself in harm's way because he didn't jump for the ball. He just stayed...
What, so he gets penalised?
Well, no, but the attacking player shouldn't get penalised because the defending player don't go for the ball.
Yeah. But I think you're right though. There's some Super League fans that are feeling pretty disgruntled after that carry on that we had in the British game, and then to see this try, it's very similar.
Yeah, it's not very similar. Well, the skill level I think is probably a little bit higher here. But anyway, vote for your try. Vote for your favourite try out of them two.
Mine's got to be the Xavier Co one because I can't say the other guy's name.
Mark N.
Mark N, yeah.
Mine was Mark N's because I can't say his name.
Yeah, that is his skill. Yeah, brilliant, Karl, picking them out. Right, let's move on then. So I want to go to the viewers' mailbag, sponsored by Urban Flux Studios, and a couple of comments. Two extremes. All right. So last week in the set of six, go and dig it out if you haven't seen it yet. We talked about the run it straight competition where it was basically just units just flooring each other and all this. And like I said, it was received in one or two ways. People actually just agreed with us and thought like there can't be any mileage in this. But then some other people like really, really defended it and like almost made us look like we was stupid because of our comments.
That we were a bit soft, really.
Yeah. So first one, John Oxley, 1946 on YouTube. He said, "I love the big hits in rugby league and rugby union, but this doesn't do anything for me." And I was a bit like that. Like you get the initial shock factor of people getting cleared out, and afterwards, you then get a little bit of like. It's like, it's a bit cringy. Like I don't want to see people getting absolutely laid out
over and over again.
Yeah, over and over again, and what's coming downstream. Anyway, we talked about it at length, and then we had Big G Izzy, right?
Big Jeezy,
Big G Izzy,
Big G Easy.
Right now, and he was very clear in stating his points. Right, point number one, right, is the guys aren't idiots. Right.
Well, I don't think we said they were idiots.
People's behaviour, like everyone farts, but you're not fat, are you? Your behaviour isn't you, right? And I don't think we called him idiots. We just said it was idiotic behaviour, right? And I don't think anyone can argue with that. But this guy is. So he's number one, the guys aren't idiots. Two, there is skill involved. Yes, I'm sure there is. Some individuals are very skilled, but some are not. Don't really understand your point there. Number three is perhaps you judge too early, give it time. I don't think we did judge too early. Or we did judge early, but we also said that with some different rules and sorting this out, who knows where this game could be. So we're open up to the fact that it could establish itself as a sport. I just can't see it right now. And then the fourth one is you're possibly gaslighting the hell out of the sport for your own personal gain, Karl.
What we getting out of it? What about 34p on ad revenue on YouTube? He can have his 34p back if he wants to donate it to the Run It cause.
the Run It in the post Run It retirement fund.
Yeah, the fucking concussion fund.
I find similarities in sport like sumo wrestling, arm wrestling, the extremely skilled sports that come with specific associated risks.
Arm wrestling? What similarities is there with arm wrestling?
I don't know. I don't know.
That's the most bullshit comment I've ever heard.
Right. Is he gaslighting us then?
He's gaslighting us. There's no similarities with arm wrestling there.
Right, okay. So
two players running at each other and one of them getting cleaned out to an arm wrestle. Come off it, man.
Right, okay. Thanks for your comments, lads. As always, we'll always pick out a...
Can I just dive into it a little bit more? Because there were some comments... apparently this is like... this goes back 100 years, apparently. Apparently they do this in New Zealand and Australia. I can't remember. I've lost the comment. I couldn't find it. But somebody commented. He says, look, this has been happening in New Zealand for years. And what actually happens is if there's two players who have a disagreement on the pitch, right? Like, I think he was talking about like schoolboy rugby. So playing rugby at break time or whatever. If there's two players who have a disagreement, it's almost like ice hockey where they go, right, gloves off, have a fight. Once someone gets cleared out, that's it. It's finished. And he basically said that's what used to happen. So the Kiwis in school, if like two having a bit of a biff off, it was like, right, run it challenge, and they were 10 metres apart and they'd smack into each other. Somebody'd win. That's it then. Back on with game. Which might explain why the Kiwi props run over has quite a lot in international rugby. So there's a bit of context.
Right, okay, so if you didn't see that story, like I said, go back and see it. Wembley is the first opportunity for teams to pick up silverware in 2025. It's the holy ground of rugby league, and we now know which teams are going to feature at Wembley this year.
Yeah, and the men's, women's, and the 1895 Cup. So the 1895 Cup final semi-finals took place this weekend, and two mega games here. So York Knights 28, Bradford Bulls 20. Hurts me that one does, Craig. Does just hurts me that one does. Oldham 14, Featherstone 40. So it's going to be York Knights versus Featherstone in the 1895 Cup final. And then obviously in the women's game, we've got Saints v Wigan. And in the men's, we've got Warrington v Hull KR. So what's great about this is you've got 6 different clubs all going to be represented at the finals day at Wembley. I think it's a really smart move by the RFL that they brought this in a couple of years ago. They give these championship sides a chance to get to Wembley as well. And then we've had 2 different women's sides get there. So it's just perfect. Sets up what should be a massive crowd, I think.
No, I think it will be a massive crowd. By the way, back to Bradford. I think this was the best chance Bradford's had for a long time to get back to Wembley.
I think it's
a shame they missed out, but credit to...
I think even 97 last time they were actually at Wembley.
Yeah.
Could be wrong. Yeah, because I think some of the finals were like at Murrayfield and stuff like that. York were brilliant. Bradford came out of the blocks the quickest, scored early points, and then York took control of it in the second half. In the second 20 minutes of the first half, and they went into the sheds with a lead, and they came out in the second half and backed that up. And Featherstone really blew Oldham away. I didn't expect this result because Featherstone had a terrible start to this season. They made changes to their coaching staff. Paul Cook came in. Jed Corcoran came over from York. And Featherstone's fortunes have really changed, and they're getting stronger and stronger. And that is a shock result, putting 40 points on Oldham, who we know are just a star-studded side. So, yeah, fair play to Featherstone. Great win, that.
And scheduling this year, Karl, because am I right in thinking that they had one game at the start, and then they had the men's final, and then they had another game afterwards, and that's just seemed a bit weird.
They have the schoolboys final first, so the kids game first. Then we have the women's final. Then we have the Challenge Cup final, and then the 1895 Cup is after the Challenge Cup final, which is just a bit weird.
It does seem weird
because the stadium just obviously
decimates.
Like 50,000 people empty the stadium, and then you'll be left with Featherstone and York fans. I mean, some people stick around to watch both games, but generally the stadium empties. Yeah, everybody goes for a beer at that point.
Well, they're going for a beer, and then they're trying to get back up the M1 back home, aren't they? So it's a bit of a shame that the way that the scheduling's done. But
what
anyway,
would you do?
It is what it is.
Would you do? Have the 1895 first, or before the women's Challenge Cup final, or what would you do? Would you have the Challenge Cup final last?
Yeah, I don't.
I suppose it's down to TV scheduling, this, isn't it?
Yeah, the TV. Yeah, you're right. You've got that like roughly midday, early afternoon men's final, and everything's working around that, innit?
Yeah.
And obviously a game takes as long as a game takes, so you can't. You start at 7 o'clock in the morning. It's just it's not reasonable. So I get it, I understand it. It's just a shame. So you could almost is there cause for it to be a standalone?
What, the 1895 Cup and have that at a separate stadium?
Potentially.
Maybe
the same stadium, but then would it bring enough crowd to justify Wembley?
I think probably what it is that the RFL probably book Wembley out for the day.
Yeah,
and the price is
the
price.
Yeah,
just it don't. There'll be some truth in that, won't there? I bet it don't matter whether you play one game at Wembley that day or you play 4 games there. I think the price will be the price. Maybe a little bit more depending on how long stewards have got to be there and stuff like that. But yeah, it's definitely a smart move making the most of the stadium.
Right, let's move on then to tackle 4. Imagine a world where the England team go into the Ashes as favourites. Well, this is what's actually happening in wheelchair rugby league, okay? Because England are current World Cup holders, and they've just announced an Ashes series with Australia later in the year.
Yeah, really exciting this. And I had an inkling this was going to happen. We had Tom Coyd on the show, didn't we? And I was like, wouldn't it be great if like England and Australia were playing in like an Ashes series? And it kind of went a bit quiet. I was like, I think I'm onto something here. So yeah, England v Australia is going to be taking place in Australia this year for the the Wheelchair Rugby League Ashes series. It's a 2-game series, but England are also playing Queensland and New South Wales. So the fixtures are as follows: New South Wales versus England on the 24th of October. A few days later, on the Monday, the 27th of October, they're going to be playing Queensland. And then it's a 2-game series, the 30th of October and the 2nd of November against the Wheelaroos. So I can't wait for England to go to Australia and absolutely smash them.
Well, I can't wait. I hope it happens. And I know that they're working hard to get that squad cemented and finalised, but it'd be good to.
The Wheelaroos versus England. The last time they played was at the World Cup. England came out winners, 38 points to 8. However, since then, Australia has put a massive emphasis on wheelchair rugby league. They've brought in some of the top talent to make their wheelchair side an elite performance side, just like we have with England wheelchair rugby league. There's a lot of focus on the Australia team now, so I think it's going to be closer than it was last time.
Good luck.
But it's an Ashes series, so I still hope we smash them.
Yeah, of course. Good luck to all those England players, whoever it makes the squad, and good luck to the entire Coyd family who embedded in wheelchair rugby league. So good luck on your little trip out there to Oz. Right, it's time now in Tackle 5 to take a look. Can I
just go back? Just if you do need a film crew,
to
go out there. We make shit hot documentaries. So just
little plug,
putting his hands up.
Right, so time to take a look at Rugby League outside the Heartlands and pick up the SCL and Midlands news. We're going to check in with Ian White, who's our newly appointed Southern rep, who's going to fill us in on the Southern Conference League news right now. Welcome, Ian.
Hi guys, thanks for having me on.
No worries. So, Ian, you went to the double header this week. Hammersmith, or Triple H as we call them, versus Bristol All Golds, and the London Chargers versus the West Warriors. If you could just give us a bit of a rundown on how those games went this weekend.
Yeah, it was a great afternoon of rugby, obviously down at Chiswick Rugby Club, which is always a nice place to go and watch a game of rugby league. There was a double header, as you say, so the first SCL game up was Hammersmith against Bristol All Golds. and that was a resounding 66-0 win for Hammersmith. A pretty decisive result for them. Credit to Bristol, they did work hard, they tried hard. They got into some good positions in that second half, so they kept showing up for each other and putting the effort in, so to be commended. And they did do it tough. They picked up a couple of injuries in that second half as well. But travelling to face Hammersmith, particularly away, is always a tough prospect, and so it turned out to be. And then in the second game of the afternoon, London Chargers came up against West Warriors. This was a really good game, really entertaining. Chargers edged it 15 points to 14, and they actually got on the scoreboard first through a Malachi Lloyd-Jones try. He had a great game, picked up, I think, Chargers player of the match. He was fantastic, got through big minutes up front as well, which is never easy against the West Warriors.
Yeah.
It went back and forth a bit for the remainder of the first half, and then Wests were putting Chargers under pressure in the back end of that second half as well. But Chargers kept the cool, and they actually clinched the game through a drop goal by Eric Sims, their half-back. But yeah, another really entertaining game, and credit to Chargers for seeing it out. Again, there's not many teams that can come up against West and come away with the win this season, you feel.
Yeah. Ian, was that a bit of a shock result? Because Chargers are sitting sixth in the table, aren't they?
Yeah, they've had kind of a mixed. I'd probably say they've had a bit of a mixed start to the season. So it was something of an upset. But take nothing away from them. They played a really good game. West have such a strong forward pack. It's always a tough ask going up against them. But yeah, it was, like I say, Malachi Lloyd-Jones, Lamont Bryan, who were both, incidentally, they both excellent and Scholars players, played for Scholars when they were in League One. I thought they brought a bit of size and directness and really battled well up front. So it was kind of a much needed win for the Chargers. They, like I say, had a bit of a mixed start to the season, but they've got a good run of games now. They're coming up against Bedford, Brentwood and Bristol in the next 3 games before they play Wests again. So could really be a boost for their season, and it wouldn't surprise me if they went on a little run now.
Ian, exciting on the pitch, and we had some great weather as well. So did you have much of a crowd down there?
Yeah, I would say there's maybe sort of 100, 150 or so, maybe slightly more. Chiswick's a really good venue. It's quite an open venue, and they have lots of other games and stuff on there at the same time as well. So you can just wander up and take it in. But yeah, it was a fantastic day, and I think, speaking to some of the guys that are involved with Chiswick Rugby Club, I think they quite like having the Rugby League on there as well. It obviously helps put a little bit of money behind their bar and keeps their club ticking over as well. So, yeah, it was a great afternoon.
Awesome. Right, Ian, well, let's just have a little look at the table then. Western, Hammersmith, top 2.
Yep.
You got Bedford sat there in 3rd. Obviously, London Chargers with a big win this weekend. How do you see the season unfolding at the minute?
I think it's going to be, obviously, West and Hammersmith are always going to be strong. They're sort of starting those first 2 positions. I probably would expect them to stay there maybe for the remainder of the season. But like I say, Chargers result, you never know what can happen. It's definitely, I think, a tighter league this season, or it is a very close league, competitive league. You look at what teams like Bedford are doing, and I know you guys have featured Bedford and shone a bit of a light on what they're doing. They're a really professionally run outfit. So I think they could maybe do something, maybe try and look to break into those top 2 positions. Chargers, like I say, I kind of expect them to go on a little bit of a run. I don't think that they'll be down the bottom end of the table for too long. But some of the other clubs as well are doing really well. I mean, Eastern Rhinos are in 4th. They've had a good start to the season. And I actually tipped Bristol to be a little bit of a dark horse this season. They've been in and around sort of the top end of the table for a few seasons now. They've steadily improved their league placing year on year. And they're another one like Bedford, seem quite well resourced, very well run. So it wouldn't surprise me if they went on a little bit of a run too. So you can't look past West and Hammersmith, I don't think, for the top 2, but there's plenty more games left to play. I think the last regular season round isn't until the middle of August. I'm sure there'll be a few twists and turns between now and then.
Well, Ian, just a great appraisal of what's going on down there. Just put a bit of context around you and your name. So how did you end up down south?
Well, I mean, I'm originally from up north, so just outside Hull. So I ended up moving down south a few years ago now, predominantly for work. And I guess going along and watching rugby league was, in some ways, a means of keeping in touch with kind of my northernness, I guess, to some extent. Predominantly done that through following London Broncos, but I've always been interested in the community game as well and the grassroots of the game down south. I think there's a hell of a lot of work that goes on down here across the age ranges and the grades, and obviously the men's and the women's and the wheelchair games as well. So a little bit of a rugby league tragic, I guess, from the north, and I've been managed to carry that on down south. So yeah.
Yeah, well, thank you very much for taking the time out. It's really interesting and really in depth. So brilliant. Yeah, cheers, Ian. We'll look to touch base with you a couple of times this season, if that's all right, and keep us foot on the ground with everything that's going on in London. Yeah, that would be fantastic. And I just encourage your listeners and anyone who's not taken an SEL game recently, anything like that. You know, if there's a game near you, make sure you go out to go and watch it, because there's some really good rugby league being played at this level. Or if you're following a northern team and you're coming down to the Broncos for an away fixture, you know, come down and watch an SEL game the day before or even on the same day. And it's really good quality rugby league. I know there's always some big scores sometimes, but there's some really good stuff to watch down here. So I'd encourage anyone to come down and have a watch. Brilliant. Thanks, Ian. Cheers, Ian. Well done, mate. Okay, Karl, so let's just do a little bit of a recap on the Southern Conference League results, and then we'll move over to the Midlands. Yeah, Hammersmith Hills hoist 66, Bristol All Golds 0, Brentwood Eels 18, Bedford Tigers 38. Then you got North Hearts Crusaders 10, Eastern Rhinos 34, London Chargers 15, and the West Warriors 14. Now, I haven't got a fully up-to-date table, and I had a chance to work it all out, but I believe Wests and Hammersmith occupy the first and second position, and Bedford are currently third. I think London Chargers were in sixth, but they would have moved up as well, or Eastern Rhinos. Yeah, so it's something like Wests first, Hammersmith second, Bedford third, Eastern Rhinos fourth. That's about the top four at the minute. So yeah, really interesting season, and as we keep saying every year, that SEL is just quality rugby. We took it in early, didn't we, this year? Yeah, and good to hear from Ian. That was a decent crowd there for that double-header there at Chiswick. So right, let's have a look at the Midlands games then, Karl, because you actually went out on the road and took one of these games in. Yeah, I went to a development fixture, Midlands Merit League fixture between Staffordshire Quantums and Telford Raiders. Telford Raiders 40, Staffordshire Quantums 28. And then there were two fixtures in the Midlands Premier League. Sherwood Wolfant 44, Coventry 28. Leamington Royals 18 and Birmingham Bulldogs 44. So yeah, some really competitive rugby taking place in the Midlands and in the South this year. Okay, of course we'll keep you up to date with all those scores and how the season progresses. Right, we're going to move on now, and there's a new feature that I've got, and Karl, I've come up with the Rugby League Mega Quiz, right, and it is a mega quiz. So basically, there's not enough quizzes online to do with Rugby League. Right. I remember as a kid, you might remember too, I'd always look at who was on Question of Sport, hoping that one of our Rugby League stars would be on there because the game might get featured if there is, and rarely, was the rugby players on on the Question of Sport. So I want to correct this. If Martin Afire want on. Yeah, that's it. You do. Jamie Peacock was on once. I can't remember who else was on there. But anyway, so I've come up with this Rugby League mega quiz. So imagine like catchphrase meets Rugby League Outsiders. This is where we're at. And the first contestant... I am absolutely rubbish at catchphrase. Well, the good news there is... Mr. Chips. Yeah. Are you Mr. Chips? No. The good news is there's only one contestant, and that is you, my friend. Right, so you can play at home, of course. I'm just going to... I am not looking forward to this. Right, I need to get... Knowledge probably all right. Catchphrase... skills 0. Right, Karl. So obviously, people watching can see the graphic on the screen right now. Now, basically, what I've done is I've pulled out a load of graphics, and I need you to look at the graphic, work out roughly what the rugby player's name is. Now, most of them are from the current era of Super League. There may be a couple, from players of the past.
Wild cards.
We've got 8 in total because that's basically all I could think about. And I just thought we'd have a bit of fun because, we're getting in towards the middle of the season for the Super League. We've had some big news stories, and I just think, a little bit of it will be welcome right now. So I'm going to test your knowledge as well.
Quizmaster Williams, this.
So, do I do an impression of like Chris Tarrant or something like that? No, let's not do it. Right, so here we go. Here's the first one. So obviously you've got to look at the graphics. I'm going to give you 10 seconds to work out the name of the rugby player.
Is it surname or first name?
Well, you'll work it out, mate. You work it out.
Right,
okay, so your 10 seconds starts now. So I need
Jack Wellsby. Jack Wellsby.
Yes.
Where did you get them? Where did you get them crap clip art pictures from?
All the way from the 80s, mate. All the way from the 80s. Right, you ready for this next one? This
right.
is a little bit of a good start.
Yep.
This one might be a little bit tougher. So here we go. You got 10 seconds from now.
Bird, Karl, Peacock. Jamie. No.
Well, do you know what kind of bird that is?
No.
Right, you got to try and work out what bird it is. Who's that in the middle?
Well, it's me.
Right. Oh,
Karl.
well, no.
Me. I don't know.
And time is up.
What the hell's that bird?
Right, that bird is a jay. So Jamie
Peacock. I think I said Jamie Peacock.
No, you didn't say it.
I must have half said it.
Right, so that's it's 1-0 as it stands.
But that's a crap drop picture. That's why that's fallen down.
How's it a crap picture? It looks perfectly like a Jamie. Right, you like this one? Are you ready? This is right up your straws. Very topical from our predictions show this weekend. Are you ready? Your 10 seconds starts now.
Van B. French. I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know?
White transit van with a B on it and a Frenchman.
And time is up.
What's that one?
B. Van French.
Oh, Bevan French. Yeah, but why don't you put the B in front of it?
Because it's a B van. It's a B van.
This isn't me. This is a breakdown of the drawings, mate. This is
right. Okay. Right. Here we go. Maybe you'll get this.
So
one.
maybe it might be backwards as well.
Eh?
So that one was almost backwards.
No, it weren't. It was a B van. It was a van, like a B van.
Yeah, but you should have had the B in front of the van.
Let's keep on in the interest of not losing 1 million viewers. Your 10 seconds and this next one starts now.
What type of bird is it?
You tell me. You've already had bird lesson number 1.
Is it the same bird? J Field.
Yes. Well done. He got it. Right, okay. So we're back on it. Right, you'll like this one. Are you ready? Your 10 seconds starts now. Show you're working, Karl.
Toby King.
There you go. He's in the stride now. Right, this one is a tough one.
Feature's not coming back, mate. I'm telling you now.
Honestly,
Can't wait to see the comments on this.
Your 10 seconds starts now.
Lemons are...
No, they're not lemons. They're not lemons, mate.
What, are they grapes?
No, they're not grapes either.
What fruit is it? Come on.
It's not a fruit. It's like, they turn it to oil.
Olive are... What the hell is that?
Well, what part of a fish is that?
Fish head.
Oliver Fish head. Come on, mate. You're well over your 10 seconds, but I'm intrigued.
And a dart.
Yeah. Come on. You're close. People looking at people are looking at this.
Is this Owen Trout or something like that?
No, it's not Owen Trout. So you got it. What's this?
Is it an olive?
Olive.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Olive R. Oliver.
Right. What's this part of the fish? Come on, mate.
It's head.
It's not. Is it the arrow? What's the arrow pointing to?
It's fins.
No,
Gulls.
No. Gulls?
What? I don't know.
Get out. Gills, mate.
Gills.
Right. Come on then.
Oh, Oliver Gildart.
Mate. Right, this one, okay.
How many is there?
There's not many more. Right, see if you can also mention in our prediction video this week. Your 10 second starts now.
Yoga mat, tea, cigarette.
It's not a cigarette. It's the pointing to this, isn't it?
And a weight. Tea, yoga.
So what's this?
It's a yoga mat.
Yeah, well, what is
It's a mat.
Mat,
tea.
yeah.
Ash.
Yeah.
Ton. Wait.
What is it?
It's just a kettlebell.
God, you're well bastard. It's not a kettlebell, is it? It's a ton.
It's a ton.
Yeah. So say it quicker. My God, the viewers are like, the fuck, Karl, come on.
What was it? So Ash, no, where are we going? What was it? What was the start of it? We've got T in there.
Yeah.
What you said? The yoga,
Matty.
Oh right, Matty. Ash. I don't know.
Matty Ashton.
All right.
Jesus Christ. Right, here we go.
I told you
Next
I'm
one.
no good at catchphrase.
10 seconds starts now.
What the hell is that picture?
What picture?
First aid. Red Cross.
Right, so aid.
Fox.
It's not. Where does a fox live? You don't know where a fox lives?
Yeah, I do. I'm tongue-tied. I don't know. I don't even know what's the last picture of statue.
Caesar.
Right.
Aid and Caesar. Aid, then Caesar.
That
My God,
that
you
was
are
a hard
shocking.
one.
That was it. That was the last one. So
That is not coming back next week.
not for you anyway. You were just terrible at that. What did you get? Like three out of 8.
If that. I told you I was crap at catchphrase.
Mate,
I'm literally terrible at it.
yeah. Well, I'm actually catchphrase ninja, as you can tell from the
What was
question
the
I put
first
together.
picture of?
Aid. They're like dishing out aid.
Oh, right.
You know, aid, den, where a fox lives. Anyway, listen, if you haven't checked out our weekly prediction video yet, go and find that on the show. I can only apologise.
It's much better than the quiz.
I can only apologise for my compadre, who's absolutely dog shit at quizzes. What do you got to say for yourself?
Mr. Chips is off.
Oh, coming up, Karl.
No. Yeah.
Your brain's frazzled.
Yeah, you've ruined me.
Until the next video, take care, and I'm really sorry for that performance in the quiz. Quiz, do you think it's here to stay, or should we get rid of it? You tell me.
Quiz, no.